Hey, it's Rick. Okay, I'm back here for Wednesday workout day, but workout sometimes starts with what's going on between your ears first, then versus what's going on in your body. So when I'm with clients, one of the things I always go back to is this book. It's Excuses Be Gone by Dr. Wayne Dyer. It's an awesome book. Um, so Wednesdays are my workout day, and I've gone back to read this book, and I've already read it, but it's hard to see because there's barely any light in this parking lot here as I'm shooting this video. But I highlight, I don't know if you could see, I highlight the book when I'm reading it. So I'm not going to read this whole part, but what I'm doing for myself, even though I've already read the book, is I'm going back to either giving myself the first, not the first, 10 pages a day or a chapter a day in a book. And because I'm doing Excuses Be Gone for Wednesday, I am gonna shoot a little video about this book every Wednesday until I get to the end of the book. And seeing as how I've already read it once, it's going to make it easier to go through it because I'm just going to go through my highlights. The other days I'll talk about other books that I'm reading or other things that I'm using to kind of move myself forward. So if you haven't read the book, pick up the book. I'll put a link in Amazon to Amazon. I'll put a link to the book through Amazon. I don't think I have an affiliate with Amazon anymore, so I don't think I'm going to get any commission for it. But if I do, it's only like 2 pennies. But what you get out of the book is well worth the price that you pay. So the first chapter, Dr. Wayne Dyer goes into a little bit of one of the things I like about reading his book is he goes into stories. So he'll go into his own bullshit and the excuses that he's made and overcome, and sometimes he trips back into them and then he overcomes them again. And that's kind of part of being human, is you stop and you start and you stop and you start. For some of us stop and don't start. Some of us start and don't ever stop. I'm one of these that start and stop, start and stop, start and stop. But I'm trying to use this video as a way to keep me accountable, to keep moving forward. So the chapter is called Yes, You Can Change Old Habits. And I want to read a couple of the things that I have highlighted in here. Like I said, just because for me the video is more accountability. It's part for if my daughter ever grows up and sees these videos, I want her to learn some stuff. So in one of the parts of the book, he's talking about basically laying down what your beliefs, where your excuses actually come from. And one of the first things he says is this system is made up of a long list of explanations and defenses that can be summed up in one word: excuses. So he's basically saying we use excuses as a way to not do things. We procrastinate, it's an excuse. You say you don't have money, it's an excuse. You say you don't have time, it's an excuse. The power of your beliefs to keep you stuck is enormous. So he gives examples of when we say things like, I can't help the way I think or I am, or when we say stuff like, I've always been, fill in the blank. So that's always a way to, or those phrases are ways to hold yourself stuck in one place and not move forward. So one of the things he's saying kind of in the first part of this book is just eliminate that. All of these are the laments of those who opt to use excuses to explain their lives away. So he says excuses is also another way of saying conditioned ways of being. Every self-limiting thought that you employ to explain why you're not living life to the absolute fullest, so you're feeling purposeful, content, and fully alive is something you can challenge and reverse regardless of how long you've held that belief and no matter how rooted in tradition, science, or life experience it may be. Begin by noticing how they've been working to hold you back. So in the next part of the book, he talks about beliefs as far as like biology and stuff like that. So some people say like, I can't help the way things are. That's the way I was. I'm big boned. That's just the way I am. So he says here, this part means to be helpful, but while it probably wants to protect you from the disappointment of failure, it keeps you stuck in the excuse-driven life. So he says here, this is one of the excuses, I can't change my biology. A sense of powerlessness ensues when it comes to altering anything about yourself that has become so established that it feels like who you are. There's nothing that can be done about it. After all, I can't change my basic biology. And he says, thanks to the principles I share in this book, you most certainly can. And he talks a little bit about another author, Dr. Bruce Lipton, who wrote a book called The Biology of Belief. I'll have to talk about that in another video. It's a very good book in the sense of giving you awareness of what's going on with your body and the world as a whole, and I mean like physical. So in a short paragraph here, Dr. Wayne Dyer says, it's possible to influence the infinitesimally small, tiny particles we've come to believe are the ultimate determiners of our lives. When we change the way we think and learn new ways of perceiving, we can actually change our DNA. And Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about that in his book, The Biology of Belief. He says here, your perceptions have the power to change your genetic makeup. Your beliefs can and do control your biology. So he goes into the placebo effect here a little bit. I'm not going to read that part because it's really long, but you should read it. He basically talks about patients who had surgery, knee surgery, that underwent the surgery, and another group of placebo patients that thought they had the surgery done to them, like they had the incisions and all that stuff, but never got any like actual surgery done to them, just the poking the hole into the skin so it looks like they got some procedure done. And then these placebo people coming out after surgery feeling awesome, and their knees felt great, and they never got nothing was actually done to them. And so it's kind of cool. You got to read that part. So he goes in here saying, beliefs, some of which are conscious and most of which are subconscious or habitual, determine our physical and mental health along with our level of happiness and success. Author James Allen observed, we do not attract that which we want, but that which we are. Who I am is first and foremost determined by what I believe. By changing my beliefs, I change who I am. And what you are is what you believe. So those are some like little affirmations that he kind of threw in there that I highlighted. So he says, if you stay focused on what you are as a set of beliefs, you will align with the same kinds of energy. You attract what you are, not what you want, and what you are is your beliefs. And then the next part of the book, he talks about memes. And I didn't really get what he was talking about in the beginning until I kind of read it. He explains it. So he basically says memes are a way of transferring an idea, attitude, or belief to others mentally. So he says once a meme is in your mind, it can and subtly influence your behavior, which is funny because if you watch like social media, the repetitive, and even like TV and stuff, like the repetitive nature of getting the same information over and over and over again, even when that information is bullshit, like totally drives people's behavior in their lives sometimes. So that's why it's good to stay away from that shit and fill your brain with like the good stuff. So continuing on here, he says, every excuse you read about in this book is in reality a meme that was once planted in your mind. Memes die hard because they've become who you think you are, and it taps your life energy. He also says here, so becoming aware, but the question I must ask myself is, do I really want to hold on to these habitual behaviors that are ultimately capable of making me sick? So he was talking about in the book how some of the things that he was telling himself were like making him like physically sick. When mind viruses serve you, it's a pleasure to observe them and express silent gratitude. Mind viruses or memes can work against you, but you can change them by becoming aware. And so he talks about how he becomes aware of his memes in the book. He says, this book can help you gain awareness of the excuses you use for behaving in ways that don't help you to achieve the level of health, happiness, and success you desire. So let me almost done here. Every excuse disguised as an explanation. A virus isn't concerned with whether it's contributing to your well-being or your ill-being, because it only wants to penetrate, replicate, and spread. While excuses are just thoughts or beliefs, you are the decider of what you ultimately store away as your guide to life. So that's the first chapter of Excuses Be Gone. It's good to go back to that kind of stuff because today is workout day. And like I said, it all starts with what's going on the inside in your brain first. And for example, like I was telling myself I need to work out today, and there's a part of me that's like, no, you can do it tomorrow. I'm like, no, can't have that. So thank you to the book for reinforcing that I control what's in my brains, and I control the behavior. And so I will get my workout in today. Thanks for watching the video. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.